Shabbily dressed guy actually does work in a building, dude. So years ago, I got a pretty sweet gig working as a security guard, shift supervisor actually, important, in a building downtown. It was a mixed-use building, so we had a food court, retail stores on 2 levels, as well as 5 office towers. One of the things all the guards are taught is to treat everybody they deal with respectfully. The building did have a lot of transient and homeless people wander through, but we prided ourselves on being courteous and polite to everyone. Well, one lazy Sunday morning, I get a frantic call from our building operator, guy who watches all the security cameras, telling me I need to get to a specific bank of chairs on the 2nd floor. He's panicking and I can't make out much of what he's saying other than one of my guards' names. I go rushing over, worried that this guard, who's a bit of a loudmouth bully, might be in a fight or something. Oh boy, do I wish that was the case. When I get there, the guard is berating an older gentleman who is seated in one of the chairs. Guy has a pile of papers and a coffee on the table in front of him and is pretty shabbily dressed. A pair of threadbare jeans, dirty running shoes, a faded and stretched out t-shirt, and a leather jacket that is more scuffs than leather at this point. There's a ratty laptop bag on the floor leaning against the table. The guard is darn near purple in the face, screaming at this guy to get the F out, pointing widely and yelling obscenities about how we don't allow pieces of garbage to live here. You've been here for an hour, move along. I walk up, tell the guard to cool his heels. Hey guard, let's all just take a breath. What's going on here? And then I greet gentleman in the chair and ask what seems to be the problem. The second gentleman gets 2 words out. Guard lights up on a tangent about how this homeless drug addict is loitering and needs to leave but won't get up. I shush him and try talking to gentleman again, and this time he got out 4 words before the guards interrupts again, and this time starts threatening to literally flip the chair forward to toss the gentleman onto the floor. I finally have enough with the guard and tell him to go to the office and cool off and that I will deal with the gentleman. Guard begrudgingly leaves and I apologize to the gentleman about the guard's overreaction. Gentleman basically says I appreciate it, I work an X hour on X floor and forgot my keys. I was waiting until my assistant arrives and can let me in. I automatically offered to let gentleman into his office. We do it all the time and have specific protocols for it, and he accepts. So away we go to the elevator. We reach his floor and then doors open, which when I realize where I am. Every single night, we patrol every single office space of every single tower except for one. On one floor, the entire space is occupied by a legal firm that is worth multi-millions, and we aren't allowed in the office ever. Yup, I'm standing on that floor. Gentleman steps into the floor lobby and I have to excuse myself to go and get the keys for his office. We aren't allowed to carry a copy of it, so I can let him in, and he just nods. I race down to the building operations room, snag the key, and race back as fast as I can. When I get back to the floor, I open the office door and gentleman invites me in as he goes to shut off the alarm. I then have to awkwardly ask him for his ID and to see his office so I can verify he's allowed to be there. He chuckles and obliges. He is the freaking owner of the legal firm. He thanks me for letting him in and I leave. About 20 minutes later, the president of our security company arrives on site with 2 other people and a guard who blew a gasket is escorted off site. Fired. As soon as I left the lawyer, he called the manager of the building at home to have words, and manager then called the security company who came down personally. I got a nice compliment for how I handled things and I learned why we had the rule of treating everybody with respect. I'm famous in a small town. I work in a small town library, and I mean small, it's a blink and you miss it place. All we have is a McDonald's. Our police force is like 2 or 3 guys. Also, my mother is the director at the library. This actually happened in the fall when my mom was out of town that week at a conference, and it was the one day the library was closed. I realized that I had left my laptop charger at work the day before, so I figured I would just go and get it. I had the key to the building anyway. So I walked the half a mile there, unlocked the door, get a drink of water, put my charger in my backpack, and use the bathroom. Next thing I know, I'm walking out of the bathroom and there's a knock on the front door. I'm already done inside, so I just picked up my backpack and walked to the door to see who was knocking. It was one of the cops. He starts laughing and motioning for me to come out of the building, and this lady I have never seen is screaming that I need to be arrested and he needs to check my bag. Now, I'm really confused because almost everyone in the small town knows me, mainly because I work at the library and I do all of the library outreach with the schools, churches, and the senior center. The biggest thing I am known for is my hair though. I'm the only person in town with blue hair. And I mean all blue, not just a streak of the tips of my hair, my whole head is blue. So this lady is screaming at the cops, who is still laughing, that I broke into the library and I had stolen items in my backpack. I'm trying to explain that I worked there and I was just getting something I forgot, and the cop isn't helping by laughing like a hyena. I calmly say that I am the children's assistant and outreach coordinator for the library. Our director is out of town for a conference and that I was in charge while she was away. The only reason I was there was because I took the library's laptop home to work on things from home over the weekend, but I had forgotten the charging cable for it. I would gladly call my director and she can tell you exactly where I am, or we could even just ask the police officer who comes by for coffee in the morning and is conveniently present. But as soon as I reached into my back pocket for my cell phone, she started screaming that I was lying. Eventually, the cops stopped laughing and explained that I did in fact work there and offered me a ride home. She took this as me getting arrested since I was getting into a police car. Crazy lady came in just before the virus outbreak, screamed at my director for hiring a known felon who stole from the same library, and threatened to call the cops on me again. My mother was very confused and just looked at the lady to stop harassing her employee and child. It helped that the background of her computer was a picture of me because the lady took one look at it and stormed out huffing like the big bad wolf. Did you came here yesterday? So, background, I'm a structural engineer and for better or worse, I have some experience at assessing structural damage on terrain, and because of that, I was hired in late 2017 to examine damaged building after the earthquake in Mexico City and surroundings. My job was to go around the property, identify and document damage caused by the earthquake or aggravated by the earthquake, and then prepare a report that would be used for insurance claims and other necessities. In theory, I had certain authority to evacuate the building, but luckily it was never necessary. Another thing I have to add is that I have a bit of a baby face, more like a lot. I easily get mistaken for someone much younger. So here I am. I was assigned to check this particular old factory during the day, a pretty big building of near 6,000 square meters on one of the not so good areas of the city. I arrived roughly at 9:45, 15 minutes before the appointment, and the only entrance is this huge blue metal door with a smaller blue door on the corner. I go and knock the small door, no answer. Only at the third attempt someone opens. He was a small goblin, opens the door and looks at me up and down. Security goblin. Who are you? I'm me. I come from company for a meeting with the owner. And who sent you? Me a bit confused. I come from company and I have an appointment with the owner. I proceed to explain to him what I was going to do and my schedule on a paper I was carrying. And who are you? I'm confused about the goldfish-like retention capability of this guy, but I give him my name and all the info again. He huffs and says he's going to check, closes the door. 10:15 and I'm still in the entrance waiting, and the security goblin has not appeared. At this point, I had called the central office that was coordinating all the inspections, and they were frenetically trying to see why I wasn't allowed to enter. After knocking maybe 5 or 6 times, the security goblin opens again. What do you want? Me, I've been waiting for half an hour. Could you find the owner? SG looks me up and down again. Somehow my white construction helmet and the blue vest with the company name weren't enough to make him connect the dots. He squints his eyes. And who are you? I am dumbfounded. It actually takes me a second to answer because I needed to be sure if I hadn't fallen into a creative punishment in purgatory. I give him my name, company name, and a brief explanation of why I had an appointment with the owner. He squints again and without a word closes the door. By 11:15, I'm absolutely fed up and asking the central to leave. They finally answered that they had spoken with the owner and confirmed he's expecting me. At this point, I had forgotten how many times I had knocked on the door and my patience is at the limit. Still, I'm containing myself to keep the best, most professional image I can. The security goblin opens again. He is somewhat still unimpressed that I have stood near an hour and a half in front of the door. Security goblin, who are you? I'm now convinced this is some sort of practical joke, but I'll follow. I come from company. And what do you need? I have an appointment with the owner. I understand he is waiting for me. Suddenly, his eyes opened wide and his face changed to the expression of someone who has gone to the depths of his mind and returned with a revelation. SG. Oh, but didn't you came in yesterday? At this point, I admit I lost it. I fully lost my cool and with an exasperated but still not screaming tone, I snapped back. Me. I have been in the same place for the last hour and something. How can you be that incompetent? It seems that was the password because now Security Goblin, visibly scared, let me in immediately and pointed to a door at the other side of the internal parking lot. I passed by while he was muttering, "You didn't need to scream at me like a hurt kid." Inside there was the owner and some other guy. Before I can even present myself, he berates me for being more than an hour late so he cannot go with me to the inspection. I explained briefly that the guard wouldn't let me in since 9:45. Apparently this wasn't so rare because he sighed heavily and muttered, "That fat idiot." He excused himself and the other guy accompanied me. I could hear the screams of the owner at the distance while entering the second floor. By the time the check was done, no severe damages, everything was easy to repair, I found the owner again. Apparently the security guard judged that I was too young and my accent was too weird to be who I claimed, so he didn't even ask. But instead went away and forgot twice I was there. I was 31. So those were the stories for today's video. If you enjoyed this and want to watch more videos, then click here for more stories or go check out the info cards in the right corner for more videos.